Yo, what's happening? Sheldon the Sniper here, giving you Bitcoin analysis on a Monday. Hope you're all doing well. So, guys, as you can see, we spoke about this 2 days ago about getting this moving average cross. And ultimately, what happened over the last 2 days is we finally got the cross. Now, what we have is stochastic RSI showing that this is the last week for that next drop. There's that last week. We're waiting. Is Bitcoin going lower? We're going cheaper? Am I getting ETH at $500? Am I getting Solana at $6? Like, I need to know. I need to know what's happening here. Time is running out for the bears. We are starting to get, as I said, everyone is still sitting and saying capitulation, candles coming down. We're slightly under our nose, being all secret and hidden. We are getting all these little slight bullish crosses, and we're starting to get all these little bit of signs. And the best way to think of it is the market did something 2 weeks ago. It put us all in one specific mindset. The problem is the market slowly over time changes, but the mindsets in our head stay the same. And that's the big problem. That's where we get caught out, because we don't shift as the market's shifting to. So today I'm going to go through the Bitcoin price, go through what we see next, the specific moving averages, what we need Bitcoin to do this week for the bears and for the bulls. And ultimately, where does this lead us next? What is the major indicators we're using? We're going to have a quick look at stock markets, quick look at those things, and then jump into some altcoins. No more wasting time. James, hit that button!
Click, click. Have you heard the news? What? With his finger on the pulse, it's like Sheldon knew. Click, click. When the sniper shoots, we got Sheldon on the chart, so we never lose. Enter the sniper. Sharpshooter advisor. Enter the sniper. He marks the charts right. Enter the sniper. He's calling the cycles. So enter the sniper. Click, click, click. Time to be dedicated. Sniper mode is activated. Explosions in the market are in target, and Sheldon demonstrates. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Master Sheldon tell us all. We got Sheldon on the chart, so we never lose. Click. Enter the sniper. Sharpshooter advisor. Enter the sniper. He marks the charts right. Enter the sniper. He's calling the cycles. Enter the sniper. Click, click. Enter the sniper. Enter the sniper.
Yo, Banter fam, what's happening? If you are brand new, absolutely Will Smith that subscribe button. I hope you're all having a fantastic day out there. Beloved Banter and Sniper fan, smash the like button. I hope you all guys are all doing well. What are we thinking? Market's just trending, going sideways. Is the low still coming? It's crazy how this sideness makes you think, and it really makes you overthink things at times. Hope you guys are doing well. I just finished another school session, absolutely insane. The sniper school is incredible. I'm really enjoying all the passion and all the love and everything that's there. It's truly, truly, truly amazing. Guys, remember that if you're a part of this and you were looking to trade, to open your accounts with our exchange links below. We have BYBIT, incredible. We have OKX, we have Bitget, we have Binance. These are all great. By using these links, you get discounts on trading fees. You get sign-up deposit bonuses. You get to get into our VIP on Discord for free. And this is how you get into the school as well, is by using one of our exchange links. Remember, guys, we did drop a school video. Go have a look. Go watch one of the live events. Go have a look and see what we're actually busy with. Remember to follow me on Twitter. Follow all social media handles. And let's go into it, guys. Let's have a look. So when I last spoke to you, it was on Saturday. Saturday, we spoke about this wedge with Bitcoin. And we said we're at that point now, critical wedge on the 4 hours. This should give us an absolute good indication on markets moving up, or are we going to pull back and go test those range lows? And what we ended up doing was breaking the wedge to the upside. And ever since we did that, we did have a strong push all the way and slightly getting another 4-hour higher high, which is pretty good. Pretty good to be seeing that. Ultimately, what we have not done just yet on the smaller time frames, so I'll go through a little bit of smaller time frame analysis, and then we'll jump through the slightly higher. But ultimately, what we're looking at here is we are looking at a retest. Now, not only is it a support retest of this current trend, so I'll be removing this now and ultimately providing what the support of Bitcoin is on the shorter time frame. Not only is this the retest and a critical level for us to hold and basically buy up zones, area where you can start getting into altcoins out of Bitcoin. because this was good. You know, we made the shift of getting into Bitcoin, protecting ourselves. So we're not getting out of the market, but maybe the market pumps and we're still in, or the market pulls back and we're still holding Bitcoin. Way stronger than altcoins, a lot more less of a heart attack. And ultimately, this little wave that went up, you know, if you look at today, Bitcoin's performing pretty much the same as the market, which is good. So it means dominance is going up through those times. And it's just another lesson for you guys. Whenever you're scared, you can jump to Bitcoin. You can jump to the safer assets and then make your next decision. Now, not only is this a support where we can be adding, but this is a support we want to hold. And if we hold this, there is the area of 18, 19, if not back to the higher high of the 21K. Now, let me show you what my thoughts are. My thoughts are using these moving averages. And one thing that I use moving averages for, and I explained it to you guys last, is support and resistance. And ultimately, the crosses. The crosses are delayed, but it happens. And this is when retail jumps in. It's a very known indicator that's used. But ultimately, the cross is usually the later. You know, the early spark is getting the cross on the 20. But what we managed to get is the cross. I remember, again, quick highlight from what happened on Saturday is the last time we had this cross, we ended up getting a 10 to a 12% growth in Bitcoin throughout that time. We ended up getting a 20% growth over the altcoins in that time as well. And what it basically implied as well is when we got the cross, we basically had around about 2 weeks of greenness throughout that time. So it's a pretty important indicator that's crossing over here. Now, the importance with this is now that we've broken, we have to hold. Okay, the most important one is the 50. The 50 moving average on the 12 hours is the most important one to hold. Breaking the 20 at any point can give you a little bit of an early indication that we're going to go test the 50. We're not guaranteed to hold it, but it's giving you that early point, maybe some TPs or something like that. But right now, what it's saying is hold. It's saying the market's looking good. We're starting to get some retail flow. We're starting to get the cross of the moving averages. And what it means, very similar to over here, is we want to hold. So you break through it, the 20, yes, this one's okay. We can allow it to touch that. But the important one is the 50. And you can see the minute we lost the 50, look how big the reaction was to the downside when we did. Now, it's the same thing over here. Firstly, we have this support trend of that flag. And that's giving us the indication now, okay, cool, Bitcoin, you know, 16.8 and 17K, that area is support. That's area we hold. That's area if we go test, we can possibly add and ultimately have stop losses sitting in these areas to protect. But this is the zone. And so is this. This is matching the exact same thing, showing that 16.7, 16.8, this area is now support. Now, guys, we also have a trend line. Put this trend line in play as well. Any test of this, there's nothing wrong with buying on support, guys. Nothing wrong with it. Because if it drops, slight stoppage, and we know we're definitely going down, it gives you a very easy way to protect yourself. So now you know a major area of where I want to build bags or get more of my positions. You know, we have to go zooming out again all the way to the higher time frames. And we've got to understand three things. Currently, what is the market providing? Is the market providing a strong bull wave on... Remember, timeframes are separate. If you go watch that school video, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Because we're forming this currently on the 4 hour. Okay, on a very high time frame, we're forming this. But on the weekly, on the extreme high time frame, we're actually forming a range where we're basically going sideways like this, and we're basically going down. And if you had to look over the last, I think it was 6 weeks or 8 weeks, Bitcoin's offered 25% leg down, 25% leg up, 25% leg down, plus minus 25 up. And it's basically been doing the same legs at a slight angle to the downside. So it's still indicating that higher time frame, we're still currently in a ranging wave and we're in a higher time frame sort of move. Yet smaller time frames are getting, you know, quite bullish. You know, 4 hours or 8 hours are looking pretty strong until we get the break of this. So higher time frame, we're still sitting here. Lower time frames, we're starting to catch 12-hour cross of MAs. Things are starting to look pretty good. What you need next now is you need the higher time frame pattern to change. Because what we're doing now is, if we look over here, let me draw it nicely for you guys so you can see it, is we are very much clearly ranging. And you can see here by the trend line looking pretty good. And ultimately that one over there looking great. And in order to get out of this pattern is the crack of that major trend line over there. So we're getting this little momentum to the areas over there. That's the big one we want to break and ultimately finally break out of this pattern and hopefully put us into this pattern. And throughout the previous bull cycles and the previous runs from Bitcoin, I actually clocked out and saw the different waves. These were little things I was teaching in the school this morning, of the RSI resets and what the market was doing. And over the last 2 bull runs with Bitcoin in a bull market, it basically looks at weekly 100% moves to the upside, 30% pullback, 100% move. Okay, then what I did is I looked what Bitcoin does in a bear market. And ultimately, and the way I count these waves, guys, is the RSI from bottom to the 90% on the top and the cross. So I use that as a wave, okay? Because it's always been really good and it's always given us critical areas. But the bear wave showed this, 45% down, 45% up, 45% down. So what I actually started doing is, this is where the power comes of the school and teaching you guys, is I actually stopped the multiple time frames. What I did was, weekly is a long time frame that you probably trade two to three times a year. So I only, for part of my portfolio that I only want to trade for that time, I only use the weekly charts. I use nothing else, not another thing. I don't care what the daily says. I don't care what the monthly says. I use a certain part of my portfolio only on the weekly. And then I have another portfolio, which is a swing, and that one's only used on 4 hours. Then another one that's only used on 1 hour. Another one's only used on daily. And the fact that I could split my portfolio and assign that portfolio to a different time frame made my job so much easier. Like, it all makes a lot more sense now. Because what we have here, guys, is not only are we in this phase over here, but we have the stochastic RSI that's just crossed. It is big. It's a big sign. It's giving us a good indication, higher time frame. Now we're getting to another critical stage. Take the simple stats of when the last time this happened, we ended up having a 30% growth in Bitcoin. The times before that, you could see. So remember that ultimately, smaller time frames, we are starting to get this flag and this momentum to the upside. We just need a little bit more, and on the higher time frame. But let me give you this now. If we jump quickly over here to the 12 hours giving us an early indication. Okay, if Bitcoin makes its way up and it gets past the 18, 19K, what is the actual range here? Let's have a look at the higher time frame. What is the range for Bitcoin breakout here? 20K. 20K breaks the weekly. Okay, so we know all the shorter time frame, all the things are there. But if you're catching now and you're starting to get these MA crosses now, and you know where to protect yourself, guys. Right now, risk is good because everything's you only buy on supports and you only buy in pullbacks in specific areas, and that's where you load up. So you're always protecting yourself on that. But ultimately, what you don't understand is you could be building a portfolio up here, and this is the ultimate way to hit the next run, because what's coming at some point, we're gonna have a run. We're definitely gonna have a run. And the way you want to do that is if you can use this area over here to build all your bags and all your positions. So by the time the bigger, we've just seen the patterns on the smaller time frame when you break major trends. When a bigger move happens, your bags are in. You don't have to worry about buying nothing. You don't want to get to a position where at any point, it may do this for a while, any point market does this, and you didn't fill. You're not in. You don't have half of your money in, or you don't have this, or you're not ready for it. You got to remember that it always creeps up on little moves like this and comes last minute. That's how it works in this market. Slowly up, slowly up, slowly up, hit resistance, boom, breakthrough. Then it all starts to happen. So remember to just think about it, guys, that you have all these different time frames, understand what the time frames do, and understand when you need them. Because think about it. You have the 4 hour bullish, very bullish right now. The 8 hours are bullish. The 12 hour just turned bullish. The daily we're waiting for. The daily is the one we are waiting for. So let me show you what's happening on the daily here. So the daily broke 20, which is good. We do have stochastic RSI getting slightly high. We don't have any bearish divergence, which is good. But ultimately, what we need is this bad boy to get up here ASAP, and let's crack the next major one. So we've just had, think about it, guys, it's incredible. 4 hour went bullish, 8 hour went bullish, 12 hours just gone bullish. What happens if daily goes bullish now? And weekly stochastics at the bottom. And then weekly breaks this one. Now, all of a sudden, you had all of them starting one by one. Do you see how it starts off smaller and the way it builds its way up? So now we have an important understanding that now the daily, it's showing again, this 18K is an incredibly, incredibly important place that I think we're going to have either first or a small pullback to the 16. So remember, guys, 16.8, anywhere in that area is my dollar costing zones. Sweet. But ultimately, I'm looking at the move at any point to go to 18K. That's my huge one to get through first. Once I get through that, I get through the 50-day moving average. Then what's next? Then I have the major trend, which is this one over here, 18.8. I break 18.8, I get through 19K. Now all of a sudden I have the weekly trend breaking now. Do you see how it started from 4 hour, 8 hour, 12 hour? So now all you're doing is basically just shifting. 12 hours just turned bullish. So now we're waiting to see the daily. Wait to see that the daily is bullish. Anytime we test and we test 16.8 or anything like that, it's top up zones, and we're protecting ourselves under those trends. But if that daily turns bullish and it sends it up and we break 18 and then we break 18.8, now we've just broken the weekly. We just had a stochastic reset, which gives us an indication that the last one took from June. The last one took 3 months. What is that? 2 months for this to go up. This one also 2 months, indicating for us that we can have 2 months of growth now. Where will that take us? Well, we finally go test the big daddy, the one that we thought this wave was going to happen until FTX came and ruined the party. But ultimately, that's the big daddy we want after that. Guys, will you not feel better? Like, imagine we've built up these times and Bitcoin can go to 30. I'd be grateful, bro. I'd be extremely grateful. But this is how it works. It starts off on one time frame and it works up this ladder. And from that, you see. So we got two more major time frames, guys. The daily, 18,000. The weekly, 18.8. We get those ticked. And I think we're on a good one. I really feel we still got to remember that Bitcoin is down 17%. It is down hugely, 75% from the tops. And that was the last pullback that we had in this one over here. This was also 77%, 75%. I spoke to you guys about the bullish divergence on the RSIs on the weekend. Things are slowly boiling in the background. The guys that keep the same mentality and stick to the analysis that was 3 weeks ago will get stuck at some point, and they're going to put themselves in a very ugly spot throughout all of that. Cool. So what I'm seeing next, guys, I do think that the small pullback is coming to the 16. It could come because this needs to test. It's getting a little bit high now. We've had no decent red candles. So I think at some point, small pullback from Bitcoin, hopefully test 17, and then make our way to those areas. This is my main support, plus the moving averages on the 12-hour. I'm looking to buy this. I'm waiting. There's going to be another small little pullback. I saw this with Chainlink. So for anyone that's looking for a small short-term trade, a short, remember, you don't have to short with leverage, guys. You can short on a 1x and you can make dollars. You don't have to borrow money if you don't want to. But ultimately, look at Chainlink. Chainlink broke this trend line. The upside, it's looking at made its first lower low. It's looking to test here. So I've taken a short-term short over here, looking to get it done there. So I'm expecting a small pullback on the markets, and I'm using that to deploy. Because if you look at a lot of them, look at Solana. This is the trades I gave you guys. I said, if it breaks this, boom, we're on. And it held well. So this is no longer relevant. And that broke out beautifully. And we're about to get a 4-hour cross in the MAs, which is good. But for me, this comes in tests here. This comes in test here. We catch it over here again, and then we make our way to $15. So I'm ready for this Solana one over here. This is too many green candles. Wait for the 4-hour RSI to get to the bottom and reload up. So remember, guys, I've gone through higher time frames now. Pullbacks. Use the 4-hour RSIs. Remember, guys, I actually did it. Let's see if I did it this morning, if I have it here for you guys. This one. Okay. For example, if you use the daily chart, it gives you around 8 trades in 160 days. So it gives you a trade every 20 days, a long or a short, if you use the daily. So you see why you got to understand the time frames. If you're using the 4-hour, it's basically giving you a trade 2 times a week. So it's indicating, so for you, just think about it. I want to trade once or twice a week, or I want to trade once a month. That's how you're going to determine your time frames. So for example, if this makes its way down over here on the 4-hour and we've tested zone, if you want 2 trades per week, it's a buy. It's a buy and a stop loss. But the daily's at the top. So if you're a long-term investor that only wants to trade 2-3 times every 3 to 6 months, you're not buying yet. The 4-hour guy can buy because he's making shorter gains. But if you're daily and that's your part, your time frame, you can't change. You stick to that. You wait for the daily to hit the bottom. You're going to soon learn how powerful these time frames work within the market. Right now, we are starting to get the nice little movements on the 12 hours. We need the dailies on a lot of these tokens. We need the dailies on a lot of them. So I'll be focusing on that. We saw BNB break this wedge, which is good. So I think BNB goes slightly higher, and on the retest, definite nice little load up, stop loss under previous low. And I still think this goes here, if not to the $350 mark. I'm prepping, guys. I'm ready for action. Look at the AVAX. The coins are slowly waking up here. THETA broke trend, looking pretty decent right now. Still waiting for that slight pullback in Bitcoin, but you can start to get a little bit of a feel. Things are starting to feel a little bit decent. You know, Fantom. We spoke about Fantom. If Fantom can break this weekly, see, there's the 20 MA. Fantom can break this weekly. You know, Fantom's gonna pump. It's gonna pump. But I do think a short-term pullback happens first. Get the 4-hour RSIs down. Let's look at the 8-hour. 8 hours just crossed, looks pretty good. 12 hours still on its way down. So I'll be slightly patient, but ready, because if that rips, it's going to move. So guys, I'm keeping a shorter show today. I'll go through altcoins throughout the rest of the week, but keep the time frame in mind and understand. We have the 12-hour crossing. We need the daily. The daily is 18,000. The weekly is 18,800. If that breaks, we're on. Until then, we only scoop up around 16.8 in those sort of areas is when we're looking to buy up. And that's it. Quite simple. Have a fantastic day, Banter fam. Love you lots, and I'll see you all later. Much love.
Okay. Cool. So what are you going to talk to Ray about?